Dear students, welcome. Today we will go for active and passive ways, which is of utmost important. As students, you should know the difference between active ways and passive ways. When to use passive, we should know very well. Because most of the time we are habituated to use active ways only. But certain cases we need certain to tell in passive ways. So what cases we use passive ways and what cases we use active ways, let us have a clear distinction between them and start practicing using some passive sentences, because passive sentences are also necessary. And sometimes students maybe get confused whether it is whether the subject is doing something or something is happening to the subject, whether it is in active ways or whether it is in passive ways. Even for good comprehension also, we need to have a good knowledge about the active and passive ways. Most of the time we are habituated to use active construct the active sentences only, because all that grammar that we have learned, the sentences that we have learned is majority of them are such. So when you observe the activity and passivity in our everyday life, passivity is more than the activity. Many things usually happen when we see the active engagement of the individuals will be less. So the passivity is more in our lives than the activity. But when you are asked to construct the active and construct a paragraph in English, so most of the time we construct the all sentences in active ways only. So that means there is a imbalance in what we speak and what actually takes place. So for what purposes we use passive voice, and how can we convert active sentences into passive sentences, and sometimes vice versa also, constructing the passive voice sentences into active voice. So let us know the difference between active and passive voice, and also for what purposes we use passive voice. If we know them very well, so that we make an effort and try to use it in our everyday language. So without passive voice, if you are talking everything in active voice, does not fit in all the situations, because if you are really a sufferer, you can't speak in active voice, isn't it? So you can't say that I got injuries, you can say I was injured, isn't it? So that way the tone will also differ. So you should better know the usages of passive voice, and try start using them in your own language. So let me share my screen. So today we are going for voice, that is active voice or passive voice. How do we know? So naturally, when you look at the voice is the sound that we are making. So sometimes our sound will be active, sometimes our sound will be passive. Especially when you are a sufferer, we use a passive tone, isn't it? So when you have achieved something, we use an active tone. So we all aware that when is active voice is used. So let us have a critical look at them. So when you say when there is no direct object, what is a direct object? The normal sentence structure is subject plus verb plus object. So when there is no direct object, we use in the active voice. For example, the singer performed for an hour. So the singer performed for an hour, but we don't have an object here. So in the cases of the sentences where we don't have the direct object, we use active voice. And when the agent is important, that means when the doer is very important, most of the time this is the case. So when somebody does something, we narrate it in active voice, we describe it in active voice. For example, Tagore received the Nobel Prize in 1913. That means that is the achievement of the Tagore, so we are giving more importance for the subject. So Tagore received the Nobel Prize in 1913. So that means Tagore is a subject, and we are giving importance for the subject. So that way, who achieved the Nobel Prize in India? So that way, the first man to achieve the Nobel Prize in India, that is Tagore, received the Nobel Prize in 1913. So the more focus is on the subject. And look at the chief minister inaugurated the new building. That means chief minister has inaugurated, because that particular building was constructed for over a see 5 to 6 years, and it is coming to the public use So that way, everybody is waiting for that particular moment. So the chief minister inaugurated the new building. So that means we are giving importance for the agent. That means the doer of the activity. So when the doer of the activity is given importance, then we use active voice. So normally we construct the sentences in this way only, taking subject who is the doer of the action and what he does. So that way we go on continuing it, isn't it? So this everybody, every one of us are aware. So then what is active voice and what is passive voice? If you look at, we will tell what is a voice? A voice describes the relation between the verb and subject, what relation it has. Whether the subject and verb, there is a relation. If the subject does something, then there should be some meaning. And if the subject see is being done, then something is happening to the subject or subject is a receiver, then there should be another voice. So let us take an example. He killed a snake. So he killed a snake. When you look at the sentence structure, he is the subject and killed is the verb, and a snake is the object. And in the passive voice, a snake was killed by him. When you look at he killed a snake, that means we are giving importance for the subject he. So when you are giving importance for the subject he, just when we are giving importance for the subject he, then he does what? He killed a snake. That means we are giving importance for the subject. So subject is the doer of the action. When the subject is the doer of the action, we call it as active voice, because subject is actively participating and doing some activity. So we are looking at the activity of the subject. So if the subject does something, we call it as active voice. And if the subject is the receiver of the action, suppose a snake is not doing anything but it was killed by him, from this side, from the other end, the subject is receiving the action. So when the subject is a receiver of the action, we call it as passive voice. Here when you look at the subject is in passive mode. So when the subject is in the passive mode, he is not just the receiver of the action, so we say it as a passive voice. When you say he killed a snake or a snake was killed by him, naturally what is dead here? Snake only. And in the active sentence, we are attributing importance for the subject. That way, he killed a snake. That way, he saved the lives of the people. So that way, we make him a hero, isn't it? So the subject is given importance here, and the subject's activity is important. The subject is actively participating, so that's why it is active voice. Subject is the doer of the action. And what is passive voice? The same sentence can be written in passive voice, giving see importance for the not for the subject but for the action. So a snake was killed by him. A snake was killed by him is a passive sentence. That means uh, here the subject is the receiver of the action. Subject is not active here. So that way, what you can do is, if subject does something, it is active voice. If the subject is receiver of the action, it is passive voice. So all the time, if at all you want to identify that whether the subject is in active voice or in passive voice, look at the subject. Whether subject is involving doing anything, then that is active voice. If the subject is only the receiver of the action, that is what we call a passive voice. This way you can easily identify what is a subject and what is an object. Okay, so let us go to the next line. So what are the, first of all, my main focus here is to make you aware of say when is passive voice used. So once you know when is passive voice used, you can use in everyday language. So that way, so passive voice use, just now we have come across that if the subject is a receiver of the action, we use a passive voice. That is number one. So majority of the cases, we use passive voice when the subject is the receiver of the action. If the subject is not doing anything, then go for the passive voice. If the subject does something, if you're talking about the activity of the subject, then use active voice. If the subject does not see is only the receiver of the action, use passive voice. What are the other uses of passive voice? If you look at the agent of an action, that is the doer is unknown. Suppose who is doing that activity, if you don't know, so don't say construct the sentence in active voice. It is better use in the passive voice. Why? Because you take one example. Suppose someone has picked my pocket. If you say someone has picked my pocket, that means do you know that someone? We don't know. So when we don't know someone, and when you are speaking before some of your friends, maybe in the classroom, that means that some among your own friends might have picked your pocket. It may give you a kind of see negative sense, isn't it? So instead of using someone, so we are constructing in the passive voice. That means subject doer is unknown to us. Instead of constructing the sentence with someone and somebody, better use it in a passive voice. So my pocket has been picked. So you are concerned with the activity here. We are not concerned with the subject here. That means we are not concerned with the doer of the action, because the doer of the action we are not known. So better use in the passive way. So my pocket has been picked is a the good construction than constructing somebody has picked my pocket, because we don't know that someone. So the agent of action is unknown here. Example, many countries were affected by malware. So many countries were affected by malware. Who has sent malware and what he doesn't, all that we are not known. But somehow many countries were affected by the malware. So there was lot of problem because of the malware entering into the computers, taking away, corrupting the files and all that. And who does, we are not aware. So we are very much concerned about this particular problem. So that way, when you don't know the doer of the action, we use the passive voice. So many countries were affected by malware. The passive construction is more beautiful because it is unknown. Then when you look at the other usage, the agent of action is irrelevant or implied. That means this room is cleaned every day. That means the doer of the action, though you are aware, but mentioning them is not relevant. That means it is irrelevant. Who does that activity is not relevant to you, but you are only concerned with the activity. Then that a case, you use passive voice. Or it is implied, whether it you told it or not, that is implied. When it is implied, when it is irrelevant, or when it is known to everybody, don't use in active voice, use in the passive voice. For example, this room is cleaned every day. Don't say Rajaya cleans this room every day, because you know them, you know who is cleaning the room. But for audience, it is not necessary. What they need is they want the room should be clean. Your classroom must be cleaned every day. That's all. Who does that activity? You know, probably maybe the fourth class employees will be doing, and who does activity, that activity is not a material for you. So we are concerned with only the action. So you, in that case, we have to say the room is cleaned every day. Instead of saying Rajaya cleans his room every day in active voice, we are using in the passive voice. So passive construction is more beautiful. Then look at, the thief has been arrested. When you say the thief has been arrested, naturally by the police. If somebody caught, it cannot be called as arrested, isn't it? So when police people only caught, we call it as arrested. So the thief has been arrested by the police is not necessary, because or the police has have arrested the thief is not necessary, because we are only focusing on the activity, not on the doer. Whether you know the doer, whether it is irrelevant, or that means it is already implied and need not to say, or sometimes whether that is not see relevant in speaking about that particular subject, then we have to see use in the passive voice. This is more useful. And when the receiver of the action is more important, no emphasis on the subject. So the receiver of the action is important, but there is no special focus on the subject. We are not concerned with the subject. We are only concerned with the action. Then we are using passive voice. For example, the tour will be conducted by the sports department. Okay, so we are concerned with the tour, okay, by the sports department. So instead of talking about sports department will conduct the tour, the tour will be conducted by the sports department is more convenient because the subject is not having any importance here. For example, smoking is prohibited. You are more concerned with the smoking, isn't it? This about this activity, so not on the doer, isn't it? So the sentence suffer and less hostile. That means if you want to have a see comfortable sentence, less hostile if you want to make it, then use in the passive voice. Because we're all here concerned with the activity, not on the subject focus. That means the bill has not paid. That means so far the bill has not paid. So who has to pay and all that is immaterial for you right now. That is not in our focus. Our focus is that the bill is still pending and has not paid. So that is what you require. And the results were declared. Whether the results were declared or not, that is important. Who declared the result? Everybody knows that, because that see in the context people know. So for example, the board of intermediate has the board of intermediate declared the result, because the intermediate results will be declared by the board of intermediate. The results were declared by the university. You need not say by the university. University only will publish the result, isn't it? So here we are more focused on the activity, so to make it more less hassle, then we are using passive voice. And sometimes instead of avoiding instead of taking the blame, if you want to avoid, we can use the passive voice also. That means a mistake was made. Who did the mistake is not important. So everybody is supposed to make, someday or the other will make a mistake, isn't it? So we are not concerned with this. A mistake was made, so you are admitting the mistake. So here the focus is on not on a person, but it is the focus is on the action, isn't it? So for these cases, I'll just repeat: the agent of the action is unknown. That means the doer is unknown. That means if you don't know the subject that is used in active is an unknown, so better use in the passive sentence instead of saying, even if you start using sentences with somebody and someone, don't use with somebody and someone, because that is not known, the subject is not known. Better use in the passive sentence. And the agent of action is irrelevant, though you know the person, though you know who is doing that activity, though you know the doer of the activity, but that is not relevant here, or else that is already implied. So that case also we have to use passive voice. This is number 2. Number 3 is if there is no emphasis on the subject, only action is more important, use. Then in order to make sentences less hassle, then we have to use the passive voice. That means by plus object is there, but not necessary to mention here. Instead of using subject plus verb plus object structure, since the focus is on the activity, so we are not talking about the subject's greatness. So we will use passive voice to avoid taking blame. Also, we use this. Of course, this very rarely we use. And see, passive voice cannot be used in certain cases. For example, if the sentence has an intransitive verb, that means an intransitive verb does not have an object. What is a transitive verb which takes an object is a transitive verb. For example, he likes mangoes. When you say he likes mangoes, I'll write here. For example, when you say he likes what? He likes, when you say, if you can write he likes mangoes, then he is the subject and likes is the verb. He likes what? When you have this is what we call an object. So when there is no object, this verb is not called as a intransitive verb. This is a transitive verb. That means it is taking an object. When it is taking an object, we call it as a transitive verb. That means for intransitive verb, we never use act passive voice, isn't it? So for example, the passive voice cannot be used when An intransitive verb does not have an object. So instead of saying, uh, we use the example like the baby was sleeping. So here the object is not there. So it is a transitive verb, intransitive verb. So the baby was sleeping is an example here. And the object is a class. Suppose if the object in the object place, normally in the object place, what do we have? Either a noun or a pronoun you will be having. But if in the place of see object, if you are getting only a class, then use the passive sentences. Cannot be used. You have to use the active only. That means they wanted us to stay on another week. So why it is like so? Because when there is object only, that can be converted into the subject in passive voice. But when there is no object, you cannot see construct. So that way, even in the first case also, if there is no object, you cannot construct the passive voice. So that way, object is a class, then we have to use the passive voice. Passive voice is generally not used if it is in an interrogative sentences. For example, if it is an interrogative sentence, if you are using them into see passive voice, it seems somewhat see awkward. That means it doesn't sound well. You can't construct the passive sentence well. So that way, passive voice can be avoided, especially more particularly in the interrogative sentences or when there is a class or a intransitive verb. So in class and intransitive verb, we don't have an object. So constructing them into, so taking them into subject becomes difficult. So passive voice cannot be used there. And see, let us go for the conversion. So how do we convert active voice into passive voice? So far we learned when to use active voice and when to use passive voice. Now we are shifting our attention of converting active voice into passive voice. So when you are converting active voice into passive voice, so the very important thing is, the very important thing is the first job that you need to do is you have to identify subject, verb and object. I have taken the example that just now we have come across, that he killed a snake. For example, he is the subject, okay, and what is the verb? Killed is the verb. He killed what? You are putting a big question to the verb. He killed what? That is what we call an object. Just now we had a say talk about this. So what is an object? Which answers the verb. That means here the transitive verb demands an object. Without this, it won't be complete. Suppose if you can put a full stop here, he killed. Does it mean anything? No. Immediately you will be asking yourself, he killed whom, right? So he killed what? The questions will come immediately, isn't it? And for that we have an answer, isn't it? So that way it is a transitive verb. All transitive verbs require an object. There are intransitive verbs. What you call, for example, if you say, for example, if you say birds fly, see birds is subject and fly is the intransitive verb. You can't say birds fly where, what, how, and you need not have any more questions here. You don't require it all. Birds fly itself has given you complete meaning. So that way, transitive verb is a verb that requires an object. So that way, first of all, our job is to identify what is subject, what is verb, and what is an object. How do you identify the object? You put a big question to the verb. He killed what? Whatever answer you get, that becomes your object. For example, he killed a snake yesterday. What is your object? Killed what? Not yesterday. Killed snake only. So that way, yesterday is an extra information here. Additional information it is giving, but not the object. So whatever that gives you the answer for your verb will become an object. Identifying an object is very important, because when you are converting into passive voice, your object will become a subject, isn't it? So there you find the difficulty. So you have to identify what is subject, verb and object. So when you are identifying the object, here the snake is the object, but at the same time you have an article here. So the entire group is what we call an object. Otherwise we may be missing the A when you are converting into passive voice, when you are taking into the subject. So with all that article and all, you have to take the entire thing as an object, isn't it? So is it clear? So then he killed a snake. That means what? He does an activity. Subject is active here, so that's why it is active voice. And what is passive voice? A snake was killed by him. So here the subject is the receiver of the action. So when the subject is the receiver of the action, we call it as passive voice. So in conversion, what do we do? So for example, he killed a snake. He is the subject, killed is the verb, and killed what is a snake is the object. So we are identifying subject plus verb plus object. That means what is the verb and what is the subject and what is the object, and if at all there is any extra information, they should be there. So first job is when you are converting active voice into passive voice, you convert subject of the active voice into object of the active voice into the subject of the passive voice. Here there is a mistake. So object of the active voice should become the subject of the passive voice. Okay, here I made a mistake in preparing the PPT. So object of the active voice should become the subject of the passive voice. That means a snake should come here. So then using a suitable B form is very, very important. That means in present tense, see here comes the role of the tense. So if it is in the present tense, so you have to use the present B form. If it is in the past tense, use a past B form. For example, he killed a snake. He killed is in simple past tense. So when it is in the simple past tense, so use a past B form. What is the past B form? Either was or were. Since a snake is singular, we are using a past B form was. Then killed is second form of the verb, and we are converting into third form. That means killed, killed, killed. So we are converting into the past participle of the verb. Then since it is followed by an agent, because we are bringing he here, so we are bringing he here. That means subject of the uh, subject of the active voice should become the object of the passive voice. So again, here I also made a mistake. So it should be object, the subject of the active voice should become the object of the passive voice. So here we have the role of the tenses. So look at the sentence, the tense of the sentence, and accordingly you have to change. So if it is in continuous tense, if it is any continuous, present continuous, past continuous, future continuous, in all continuous tenses we have a B form. In addition to the B form, we have to add being as an extra B form, isn't it? In perfect tenses, use been as a B form. In future tenses, only be as a B form, isn't it? So using a B form is very, very important. This job is a bit critical because once you have a good knowledge about the tenses, identifying this is not a big task because we are only just going for the structure of the tense. If the structure of the tense is, if you look at this subject plus second form verb, that is past form of the verb, that means past tense. Subject plus any B form plus ing form is there, that is continuous tense. So that way you identify the subject and select a suitable B form. So here the converting object into subject and subject into object is not difficult. Only thing is right, selecting a right B form is important. So this by also for all things we write by only majority of the cases because it is followed by an agent. That means here some person has come or by this particular person it has happened. So normally we use by as a preposition, isn't it? So the first second form is converted into third form. So what has become very important here? Selecting a right B form is important. So I tell you, see all passive sentences have this structure. That means if you know the meaning of the sentence is okay. Otherwise also you just see looking at the sentence, you can say that whether it is in active voice or in passive voice. Because all passive sentences have B form and third form of the verb. B form and third form of the verb as a structure. Okay, so that way we convert active voice into passive voice. So follow all these 5 steps so that your active voice will be converted into passive voice. Okay, so look at he wrote a letter. Let us do some exercise. He wrote a letter. So he is the subject. He is the subject, and the wrote is the verb. Wrote what? A letter is the object. So what is our first job? Object should become the subject of the sentence. That means a letter should come here, and wrote is in the past tense. We are writing past be from was, and wrote, write, wrote, written. Written is the third form of the verb, and by as a preposition we are using. And what is he becomes here? Sorry, by him should be there. Here it is him, not me. Okay, so a letter was written by him is the answer. So you are converting passive the object of the sentence as the subject, writing a B form, converting the verb into third form, then making the subject of the active voice into the passive voice. So this is the answer. Then you take he sent me a gift. He sent me a gift. He is the subject, sent is the verb, sent what? A gift is the object, and to whom? Me. Again, this is what we call object. This is what we call indirect object. Okay, and this is what we call direct object. That means whatever gives you the answer directly. He sent what? Sent what is sent gift. So it is what we call direct object. And it has already also given one more see object, that is what we call indirect object. So he sent me a gift has two objects here. So when it has two objects, two passive sentences are possible. Two passive sentences are possible. So that means you have to take a direct object as a subject once. That means a gift, and a be sent is in the past form. We are using a past be form, and the third form for the sent is sent only. And this to me we wrote because me has come here, and by we have used, and this he has come here as him. That means subject of the active voice is made object of the passive voice. So object becomes subject. We are using a suitable be form, converting into past participle. Then the meaning we wrote. Then by as a preposition we have used, and converting subject into the object. So a gift was sent to me by him. Then again you are taking indirect object as the subject. That means I is a subject, and was is a be form, then sent is the past participle, and by and him, he becomes here. So here what I did is I am taking this me as the subject of my passive voice. That means when there are two objects, two passive sentences are possible. So when sentence like this is given to you, identify if there are two some objects, you construct two passive sentences because these two are possible. Then go for the next one. People speak subject here, and this is verb. People speak what? People speak English. This is the verb object. Suppose if you say whatever comes at the end, what will happen? All over the world will become object. When you write all over the world, when you begin the sentence, you will be in confusion. All over the world, what should be written? So that way, identifying subject and verb and object is very important. So what is subject, what is verb, what is object, you have identified. Then English has become object here. So you are bringing English here as a subject, and you have to use a be form since it is in the present tense. Speak is in the present tense. We are using a present be form, and speak is a first form of the verb. Speak, spoke, and spoken. So we are using spoken as the past participle. Then all over the world we have written, and we need not write by the people. We are not doing the last two, fourth and fifth step we are not doing here, because by the people only English will is spoken. So when it is understood, when it is not necessary, don't mention at all. So that's why I have not taken by the people here. English is spoken all over the world is enough. That means when I wrote English is spoken all over the world, that means all over English is spoken all over the world by the people only, not somebody else, not something else, isn't it? So that way, after converting this into the passive ways, see whether that by plus object is necessary or not. If it is not necessary or understood, don't mention. So that way here we have subject plus verb plus past participle. That's all. Okay, not by plus object has come. So this is how we convert the sentences into. This is how we conduct we do our sentences. So we'll go for next varieties, that is who. When you say who painted the box green, this is active question. In active wise, passive wise, this is active question, this is passive question. In direct indirect speech, the interrogative sentence is converted into a statement, but in active and passive wise, question is remains a question, isn't it? Who painted the box green? So when you say who painted has become by whom, and since painted is in the past form, we have written was as a B form, then the box is there, and the painted third form is painted only, then extra information we wrote here. So that way, whenever who comes, replace with by whom, and you have to see that in all say questions, that means interrogative sentences, this was, that means the verb should come first than the subject. The box is the subject here. So when verb plus subject is there, this is a question. All questions are in this pattern. That means if the subjects come first, then later the verb, that is nothing but a statement. We all knew, isn't it? For example, see, for all examples that we say, subject plus verb, when subject comes first, then later the verb, it normally is a statement, isn't it? Or see what you call imperative sentences. But in all the interrogative sentences, we get the verb first, then later the subject. This you need to check. Then has he invited you to dinner? He is the subject here. Here has is the verb. Invited is the third form of the verb. You is the subject, and to dinner is extra information. So what you are supposed to do? This object should be made subject here. And why have? Because when you is there, it should not go with has. It should go with have only. So have you, then has invited is in present perfect tense. So in all perfect tenses, what is the be form used? Been is the be form used. So here we are bringing subject, and since it is a question, we are again making it a passive question. So it should start with a have. So the verb has come first, then later the subject. I told you that question should have this structure, isn't it? Verb has come first, then later the subject. Have you been then invited to dinner by him? This is a subject. The subject goes here as him, isn't it? So that way we convert the question. So remember that if there is a question in active ways, in passive ways, and also it is a question. That means if it is an interrogative sentence, in the passive ways also it should be interrogative sentence. Don't give the meaning of it. And see, for more complex questions, sometimes see, converting them into passive ways is difficult and seems somewhat awkward. I told you earlier, isn't it? We have just come across. So that way, see, for the normal kind of sentences, we can try. Okay. Then post this letter. Post is what you call verb, and this letter is the object. This sentence we call it as imperative sentence. What is an imperative sentence? Where the subject is understood. Subject is missing physically, but it is understood in the context. So it is called as imperative sentence. So what is an imperative sentence? Where the subject is understood or implied is what we call imperative sentence. That means here the subject is not given, but it is understood. When the subject is not given, we start with verb and object only. This is imperative sentence. So when imperative sentences comes, we have to take the help of let. Then this letter has come here as the subject because here it is subject. In the sentence, this is the subject. And what is the be form used in imperative sentences? Be as a be form we have to use. And this post has become posted. That means we have converted that into past participle. That way, let the letter be posted. Okay, so post this letter has become let the letter be posted. So imperative sentences will be converted like this. So we are all the time following this principle that object becomes subject. We are writing a be form. We are converting the verb into past participle, and by plus subject becomes object. And at the end we are looking whether that by plus object is necessary or not. Just now we have come across in the earlier slide all these statements. Now in this slide we have come across the interrogative sentences and also imperative sentences. So with this background, you do the exercise. So we have some exercise given in the textbook, so that we will go for. So again, as I told you that how to identify the passive sentence, right? How to identify the read the following passage written in the passive voice, rewrite in active voice. So as we all aware, how do we do? See, all passive sentences have a be form and third form the verb plus by plus and all, you know. So that we have just discussed, isn't it? For example, was is a be form, was is a be form, experience is the third form the verb, and by is already there, by my family and me for the first time. And it was severe and caused, was caused. For example, if you take was and caused much damage, that is passive voice. Here also was caused. The old banyan tree in our courtyard was uprooted. Okay, look at all these sentences. Was flooded. Okay, then when we began to think that the storm was over, okay, so like that, if you look at all sentences have the structure of a B form. As I told you earlier, we have a B form and then a third form the verb. So when there is a B form plus third form the verb, that is in passive sentence. So when you are asked to convert into active voice, what do? We remove this by because it is not necessary there. We bring the subject in the first place. Okay, we remove the be form. Looking at the be form, we correct the verb. Then object becomes subject and subject becomes the object later. That means when you are converting active voice into passive voice, what do we do here is we bring the object into subject as usual. Object into subject we do. We are removing the be form, and see we are writing the selecting the suitable verb. Then subject becomes object when the subject becomes object. So this way we will convert. That's all. So the by is removed and the be form is removed, and here in this object is taken as a subject, and we write the suitable verb removing the be form. Looking at the be form we can write, and the subject is made into object. So this way we will convert active voice into the passive voice into active voice. This is vice versa. It's not so difficult. You can do it very easily once you make some practice. Okay, then so there are some questions given in your textbook that we are doing. So Hari ate six puris. Hari ate six puris at dinner. For example, if you take Hari is a subject, ate is a verb, ate what six puris. At dinner is extra information. At dinner we wrote and the object becomes subject. Ate is in the past form, so we wrote the verb. And ate is taken as eaten because eat, ate, eaten. So it is eaten. And by we have taken and Hari also The subject of the active voice made into object of the passive voice. Then you take my friend has completed the work. See, has completed is present perfect tense, so we are using a been as a B form. So the work has come here, has completed we wrote, and by my friend was taken here. Sunita changed the bed sheet. This is the subject, this is verb, and this is object. The bed sheet has come here, and this, since it is in the past tense, we are using a past B form. Third form the verb by plus object. So Sarah ran the hurdle race in record time. The hurdle race was run by Sarah in record time. The mom painted the picture in one day. The mom subject painted the picture is object. So object comes here. Since it is in past tense, we are using a past be form, third form the verb by, and my mom becomes the object here, and extra information that is in one day we wrote here. The student wrote a brilliant review. A brilliant review becomes the subject here. So a brilliant review is a subject. Be form, third form the verb by plus the subject as an object here. So this way we are doing the activity. Okay. Then we proceed further. Thousands of tourists view Taj Mahal every year. So Taj Mahal is the subject here. Taj Mahal is the subject here, and is since thousands of tourist view is in the present form, we are using a present be form. Viewed third form the verb by thousands of tourists every year. The Indian team will play the game tomorrow. The game is the subject, and will is future tense, so we are using a be form, right? We are using a be form. Okay, what is the B form? B as a B form, play becomes played. By is the for agents we use. So the Indian team will be here. Tomorrow will be extra information. The manager will give you your job. Your job will be given. Will give has become will be given. And to you, again, the manager has come here and using a by before. The landlord painted the house to let it out. The house was painted. The landlord painted is in simple past tense, so we are using a past be form and third form the verb, and by as an agent here, and the landlord has come here as the object, and the extra information is wrote at the end. So this way we will be doing active voice into passive voice, isn't it? So converting active voice into passive voice is not difficult. Even say converting the passive voice into active voice is also